גדי, היית חסר לנו פה. לקחתי את העמדה הזאת, כי הייתי פה קודם, לכבל קצר מזה, הבאתי כבל סאונד קצר, אבל...
זה קורה?
לא, בסדר, אני כבר מופקר, בסדר, ממש כזה.
טוב, אני אבדוק את זה.
אתה רוצה בדיקת סאונד?
כן,
אוקיי.
נשמח. טוב, אין הרבה אנשים פה, זה הקטע האחרון וחכה שיתחיל.
A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
מצוין.
כן, כן.
לא, חלילה, זה מעניין דווקא, אני פשוט חייב עכשיו...
לא, זה היה, זה משה מ-AP.
אני חושב
שאתה צריך לשקול להסבה.
טוב, אז נדבר, בסדר? אני מדבר איתך שנסיים. שלוח לך אותה?
יש לי, צילמתי כאילו את המסך.
טוב.
There have been problems with Lebanon, with the Lebanon ceasefire and U.S. strikes against the Houthis in Yemen. With the fighting restarting in Gaza, is there a risk of escalation in the regional war that could draw in Iran? Does the return to fighting in Gaza means that the ceasefire talks are dead? ואת זה אני שואל מטעם question from Reuters.
כמו שאתם רואים, עשן שצלמנו המעולה המדהים.
יש ביטוי בצרפתית מרץ לפו, מרץ הפכפך. מתכוונים, מרץ לפו. אז מתכוונים שזה במזג האוויר, אבל אנחנו רואים שגם במלחמות יש הפכפכות גם ב...
לא, במזרח התיכון
אני נורא מופתע חידוש הלחימה. קמתי בבוקר, אני קורא את הידיעה, וואו, כל בוקר אתה קם פותח וויינט חדשות וזה.
יפה, שאפשרת עוד מקום ולא עמדת ככה מור.
Parlez-vous français? Bien.
איך אני יכול לא להקשיב? הנה שאני יש לי כמה משפטים שאני...
On peut seulement...
או, זה הדובר? כן. הדובר המכובד.
Good morning. As of this morning, Israel is operating with full force
against the Hamas terrorist organization in the Gaza Strip. We have reached this situation after the Hamas repeatedly refused proposal to extend ceasefire and to release our hostages. Hamas rejected two concrete mediation proposals presented by the US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. Israel agreed to these mediation proposals. Hamas refused them. The IDF is striking Hamas terrorist targets across the Gaza Strip, aiming to achieve the war's objectives, which include the release of all our hostages, the dismantling of Hamas military and governmental infrastructure, and the removal of the terrorist threat from Gaza to Israel's security and its citizens. From this point forward, Israel will act against Hamas with increasing military intensity. I want to talk about the suffering of the Israeli hostages. 529 days Israeli hostages are being chained, starved, abused, and held in Hamas tunnels. This week, Eli Sharabi is planned to address the Security Council. Eli was chained, starved, and abused. He lost his wife and his 2 daughters. 59 hostages are still being held in the dungeons of Hamas. They are suffering inhumane abuses that are beyond comprehension. This is the humanitarian plea that the world should be voicing, and no other plea. This is the suffering that is going on in Gaza, the suffering of Israeli hostages. And also, a reminder of what we are talking about when we talk about Hamas. If we can please Thank you. What we have just seen are Hamas terrorists hitting children in the Gaza Strip. This is Hamas. They are spreading terror and violence against Israeli. They are torturing our hostages, but they are also spreading terror and violence against people in Gaza. Hamas cannot be part of the future in the Gaza Strip. Full stop. Now moving on, something a bit different, but still very much related. I want to read you now a few quotes, and I wonder if you could link between the quote and the person who said them, these statements. So here are the quotes. We are very disheartened by the social media that is controlled largely by whether it is the Jewish lobby or specific NGOs. Jews were throwing around accusation of anti-Semitism like rice at a wedding. Sanction apartheid Israel. This is how the quote goes. These are quotes from members, Kotari, Sidoti, and Pillai, of the so-called Commission of Inquiry that is targeting Israel. This is what these people said on Jews and on Israel. And they are the ones who are writing reports on Israel. It doesn't get more biased and twisted than this. Some of these anti-Semitic statements that I just read have been denounced already by the United States, the UK, France, Germany, Canada, Austria, the Netherlands, Czech Republic, and many other countries. But the bottom line is very simple. The Pillai Commission is prejudiced, biased, and distorted, and it must be abolished immediately. Thank you. I'll take a few questions now. AP? Yes, please. Can you repeat? I couldn't hear the last part of the question.
We're planning to expand the operation, asking people in Gaza Strip to move to humanitarian places.
Okay. As I explained, we have reached this situation because we have reached a deadlock. We said yes more than once to concrete proposals made by the American Special Envoy to extend the ceasefire. Hamas said no. So with no other choice, Israel is forced to carry out this activity. And this activity has one objective, to reach the objectives that were set up for the war. And I can repeat those. The first one is to release all our hostages. The second one is to dismantle all Hamas governmental and military infrastructures. And the third one is to make sure that there is no more terror threat emanating from Gaza to the people of Israel and to the security of Israel. Thank you. Yes.
From Reuters, does the return to fighting in Gaza mean that the ceasefire talks are dead?
Listen, this is very, very simple. The ceasefire has ended 2.5 weeks ago. The ceasefire was agreed for a 42-day period. And according to the agreement, there is no automatic transition between one phase to another. Nevertheless, we did not immediately resume the fighting because we wanted to give a chance to the proposal made by the American Special Envoy, Steve Witkoff. Those two proposals were accepted by Israel and they were denied by Hamas. So this is why we are here at this point of time. Thank you. Okay. Yes. One more, please.
With the fighting restarting in Gaza, is there a risk of escalation into a regional war that could draw in Iran?
What we are facing right now, and what we faced since the first day of the war, October 7, is attacks against Israel from Hamas, from Hezbollah, from the Houthis, all initiated by these terrorist organizations. None of them was initiated by Israel, and all of them are proxies of Iran. All of them, all of those terrorist organizations I named, Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, are part of the long arm of Iran. And yes, we didn't choose to have this war, but since it was forced upon us, we are fighting it, and we are going after the ones who are attacking us. And this is what's happening right now, and this is what happened during the time between October 7 until recent days. And we are addressing every threat that is aiming to target the people of Israel. Thank you.